Good evening, MADZOOK Joe, and today our topic of conversation is going to be dispositional flow. So in performance psychology, there is a phenomenon called the state of flow, and it means how we progress through our daily life, we find our energy, and what transpires, it gets us into that zone, the zone of optimal performance is what most athletes or high performance individuals are looking to obtain and to sustain. We want to be able to get there, but then we also need to know how to stay there. So something called dispositional flow is when we feel a certain way during the flow. Something might happen. Could be a relationship, it could be a conversation, it could be anything that leads you to a disruption or an enhancement in your flow. That's dispositional flow. Now, with the dispositional flow, the most common way for us to evaluate dispositional flow is we go to what was called the Big Five theory or the five-factor theory. And it's a theory of personality. And there's an acronym for this theory of personality. It's called OCEAN. All right, so the 5 factors are openness, conscientiousness, extrovert, agreeableness, and neuroticism. All right? Now, how we break these 5 down, and there's a scale. So there's a lower end scale and a higher end scale. And all of us, according to this theory, fall into these personality types to some degree or for some measure or another. All right, so we'll talk about those in the next slide. So flow is based on your direction. Do you feel like you're moving forward? Do you feel like you're stagnant? Do you feel like you're all over the place with the monkey mind? You go here, and then you go here, and then you go forward a little bit, but then you make 2 steps back. And generally, this will depend on your choices. We all are forced with making choices in our life every single day. And sometimes we turn left, sometimes we turn right. And the smallest of choices that we make could have the grandest of effects. It could have a short-term effect that means nothing. It could blossom into something big. An amount of choices that add up together could result in a big choice being made that can affect your entire life. It can affect it for the better. It can affect it for the worse. You may not even know how it affected your life. You may not know how this flow was disrupted. Therefore, you don't have a control of your dispositional flow. You want control. All right, control comes by choice. And sometimes we make choices that lead us into an uncontrollable situation. So all you can do when you find that you run into an uncontrollable situation is you have to revert back to your foundation. Right? Don't go back to the same thing you did before over and over again that kept putting you back in the same place that you are over and over again. You need to try something different. If you normally would say no, try saying yes, see what would happen. If you normally say yes, try saying no, see what would happen. So here's where the big 5 factors come in, okay? Because number 1 of the big factors is the O, openness, all right? How open are you as a person to new possibilities? Now, we talk about new possibilities often, right? But do you really believe, are you open to these new possibilities happening in your life? You know, everybody wants the big house, the big car, happiness, all these general things, but are you open to receive them? We come to conscientiousness, all right? Now, this is a big word, conscientiousness. And so basically, what the choices you make here are, do you feel like you're doing the right thing? If you make the right choice, you generally will feel like you've done the right thing. If you make the wrong choice, you generally feel like you're mad at somebody else, or you're upset with something, or you just don't feel right inside. And so sometimes we make these choices and we aren't conscientious about the choice. We've made them out of emotion, or we've made them out of a baseline need. And we failed to look farther down the road to what will enhance our flow. Right? If we want something to come at the end of the rainbow, sometimes we have to walk through the rainbow, right? If we expect something to come at the beginning of the rainbow and it doesn't come, we never travel the rainbow, we have no idea what happens at the end of the rainbow. So conscientiousness. Are you doing the right thing? And the right thing is perspective, right? Do you care about others? Do you care about what their position is? Do you show them actions, or do you tell them words? Do you tell yourself words? I'm going to do it. I'm a tiger. I'm going to go get it. But then does the devil win? The devil inside of us all sometimes can beat us. But we have to know conscientiousness. Do we want that devil to win, or do we not want them to win? If so, don't let pride defeat conscientiousness. Take the strength, take the stand, and go for what you really want in life, not for the short term. This is how flow operates. Okay, so that brings us to agreeableness, right? How agreeable are we as a person? Can we get along with others? Do we agree, or do we always want to fight? Is it always about, no, you can't tell me this, I want to fight you. So on the low side of agreeableness, we're not very agreeable at all. Then basically, we always look at someone that they have a dark motive. We always look at the other person as they're wrong, or they're trying to do something to hinder me. Sometimes we're too agreeable on the other side. Sometimes we're always like, okay, I'll give in, I'll give to everything, give to everything. You don't want to do that. You want to stand where you need to be strong, but you don't always want to stand strong without considering the conscientiousness and looking at the other person's perspective. This is where you get balance, and this only takes place with good communication. Sometimes this communication for your dispositional flow is only between your angel and your devil. They have to communicate, and they have to come to some type of agreement. Otherwise, it's between you and the other person. And that communication is vitally important to any type of relationship, short-term, long-term, and do you want your relationships to be surface, or do you want them to be deeper? Do you want them to have meaning? Do you want to wear masks? Do you want to, how agreeable are you with the people that you surround yourself with? If you can agree on things, and you have an end goal in mind, or you have a short-term goal in mind, and you can agree on ways to get to it, the other person's feelings aren't hurt, your feelings aren't hurt, everyone comes out of it better. This is agreeableness. All right? So the last one, and this is the big one, is called neuroticism. All right? So do you make it always about you? Is it only your way or no way? And if you make it only about you, sometimes you fail to see the other person's perspective, right? You are absolutely against anything they want to do unless it means something to you. Are you in it for the money? Or are you in it because you care? Hey, MADZOOK Joe here, Joe Jekyll. And as a sport and performance psychology consultant, I always get asked, Joe, you're a psychology practitioner. Yes. Okay, what is it that you can help me with? Sometimes your friends are, and not your family so much anymore, I've been doing that a long time, but sometimes my friends will say, what's wrong with me? Or can you read my mind? No, I can't read your mind. And generally my answer is, there's nothing wrong with you. Why does something have to be wrong with you? Right? And just because someone mentions the word psychology, I currently live in Phuket, Thailand, and some cultures, the Thai culture being one of them, a lot of Southeast Asian cultures, where you say psychology, it's kind of a taboo, right? Because it automatically, bang, indicates that there's immediately something wrong, right? So a performance psychology practitioner doesn't focus on what's wrong. They focus on how to be better. All right, beautiful Instagram allows me 1 minute, and so let me go ahead and start that recap over since it cut me a little short. Okay, so as a sport and performance psychology practitioner, a life coach, a performance coach, an enhancement coach, a personal development coach, here's what we can work on. We can help you minimize anxiety and stress. We can either overcome it or minimize it. We can improve your self-discipline and your temperament, big one. We will increase your confidence and improve your self-efficacy, your belief in the ability to hold your skill level where you need it to be. And finally, your leadership skills and your communication skills will improve, which will allow you to find the state of flow that you need to be in for optimal performance.